Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. What went wrong for Daniel Dubois in the Alexander Usyk rematch? Why did he lose again? And why did he get stopped earlier than he did the first time? Some people are pointing fingers at the dad because of the fact that apparently Daniel Dubois was involved in some type of party that his dad threw for him just a couple of hours before the fight. Apparently they'd done this before some previous fights. Maybe it was to try and get Dubois in the right mood. I don't know. But people are asking questions about that. They're asking questions about the situation in the corner during the fight. They say it was chaotic. Dubois wasn't just listening to Don Charles. In fact, he was more so listening to his dad. But again, we've seen that in previous fights. And there was a bunch of other voices in the corner. Some people are questioning the tactics, saying that Don Charles got it wrong, especially the psychological tactics. But here's what I think. I'm going to reveal to you the reason, in my view, that Daniel Dubois lost to Usyk again. And that reason is that Alexander Usyk is simply the better fighter. It's just that simple. So all of this blame game stuff, in this particular instance, I think is irrelevant. Because in the first fight with Usyk, Daniel Dubois tried to stand off and box with him. Didn't work. In the rematch, he tried to rush him, stick a pace on him, and blast him out the way he did Anthony Joshua. Didn't work either. Daniel Dubois doesn't have the front foot skills nor the back foot skills necessary to beat this particular fighter, Alexander Usyk. His front foot skills, less so his back foot skills, might be good enough to beat other fighters, but not this guy. Usyk is just better. That's it. I spoke in a previous video about the mistakes, the flaws, the holes in Daniel Dubois' game on the front foot in this fight, which cost him against Usyk. But those flaws have always been there. Dubois has never been a guy that moves his head much. Dubois has always been a guy who has a wide open guard. In boxing, they tell you to tuck your elbows in. Dubois' elbows are always flared out. On top of that, he's taller than Alexander Usyk, so it's kind of difficult for him to get underneath Usyk's punches the way Derek Chisora did coming forward. So he was getting hit clean more often in the very early going than Derek Chisora was when he fought Usyk several years ago. So it is what it is. Dubois tried two different ways to beat this man, failed both times. What can you do? Sometimes a guy's just got your number. And Alexander Usyk so far has got everybody's number. There are other fights, of course, where you look at what went wrong and you think the loser really can win the rematch. An example would be Anthony Joshua when he fought Andy Ruiz. I always felt he could win the rematch because I looked at what he'd done in the first 3 rounds against Ruiz and said, well, if he can just replicate that, aside from rushing in and getting himself caught after he dropped Ruiz and the fight turning on its head at that point, up until AJ knocking Ruiz down, he was outboxing the Mexican-American, moving around the ring relatively comfortably, popping a jab, lead left hooks, right hands. He was having his way. The fight turned when AJ was going in for the finish and got himself clipped. And he never really recovered after that. So that was an instance where I could see the loser reversing the result in a rematch if he made certain adjustments, if he changed certain things. Whereas with Daniel Dubois in the Usyk rematch, I didn't see Daniel Dubois winning. I thought he'd have a better chance in a rematch, and that proved not to be the case. But I was still picking Usyk to win. And the fact that Dubois approached the fight differently second time around just solidifies my already held view that Usyk's just too good for Daniel Dubois all round. He just has his number, he knows all his moves, and he's got an antidote for everything he does. So in this case, I don't think we need to really overanalyze what went wrong with Daniel Dubois. Just got beat by the better guy. That's it. Now moving forward, of course, you'd want him to try and continue to improve so that he can have a better chance of beating other fighters in future. And, let's see what happens with that. Anyway, give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.